It's DSP's Game of the Year Awards, the top 10 best games of 2014. And then there were two. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to give my pick for the best game of 2014, but let's very quickly recap both of these games, talk about what's great about them, and then I'll give you my reasoning for why I picked what I did. Here we go. Sometimes it's hard to live up to the reputation of a predecessor. Dark Souls 2, however, had absolutely no problem living up to the epicness that was the incredibly unforgiving, challenging, difficult, trial and error style gameplay that carried over from the original game Demon's Souls and of course the last game in the series, Dark Souls. It added tons of different weapons, tons of enemies, a huge wide variety of locations, a lot of which were optional. One of the best things that I like about the Dark Souls series that definitely was prominent in this game is that you could actually beat certain stages in different orders. The game is open world in a way that you could wander completely into an incorrect area but still try to fight it and then end up maybe coming back later when you're more well equipped to take it on. Or sometimes you can actually go through the game and fight different monsters and different bosses. In fact, I was playing this game at the same time as many other popular gaming YouTubers and was discussing with them how we had fought different bosses in different orders and then eventually took different paths to get to the same places. It's just amazing the amount of variety in the game of Dark Souls 2. And then of course add in great artistic design. I mean, all the bosses, a lot of them are completely different design from others, and you never really know what to expect. What's going to be the next cheap trick? What's going to be the next, really difficult spike that's going to come up, or instant death, beginner's trap. And at first, if you don't understand it, you may get frustrated like I did with the first game years ago, but I learned to love it, and I really did enjoy even doing a running death counter in Dark Souls 2. And, the one thing that really pissed me off about the game later on was that they patched it during the DLCs and nerfed what I had done in the campaign, but we're not here to review those DLCs. We're here to talk about the main campaign, which I very much enjoyed. Even though there were a few bosses and such that really dominated me, I was able to get through it, had a lot of fun, and that's why Dark Souls 2 is right here in my top 2 contention for Game of the Year. I don't think anyone's going to really disagree unless they just don't like that style of gameplay. Massive value for the dollar, massive bang for your buck, and a hell of a lot of fun. That's why it's a contender. And then you have Dragon Age Inquisition, another game that lived up to its predecessors' reputations by taking the best elements from both of the previous games in the series and putting them into one, adding in amazing and beautiful next-generation graphics, great dialogue, more characters in this game than ever before, an insane amount of open-world environments chock full of interactive, living characters, all kinds of side content. This game, you could end up wandering around in it similarly to Skyrim, I would say, from 2011, and end up just not doing the main campaign for dozens of hours at a time because there's just so much to do between the rescue missions, the looting missions, the scavenging missions, killing the dragons, going into these side questing instances, the epic amount of boss fights, the amount of characters that you can recruit, the companion quests for those characters, the crafting system, the very intricate leveling and job system. There's so much to Dragon Age Inquisition to talk about, and the fact of the matter is, no, I have not beaten the game yet. I'm getting there. After almost 2 months of rotating this game along with my other current playthroughs, I'm putting a big dent in it, and it looks like within the next week or two, I'll finally complete the game. But I'm enjoying it at my own pace, taking my time, being sure that I don't miss a critical piece of fun or entertaining side content or a certain companion mission for someone that I really want to unlock more of their story. It's just that damn good. It's the kind of game that maybe doesn't lend itself to a video game playthrough because it's so damn long, but at the same time does lend itself to an incredibly extended personal playthrough that really becomes enjoyable. And boy, you want to talk about value for the dollar, this is probably one of the best value for your dollar games you'll ever buy. Oh, and by the way, the game has online play that I never even bothered trying because I'm so busy with the game playing it by myself. So I don't even know what else I could possibly say about Dragon Age Inquisition besides that it's long, it's fun, it's a ton of content, it's a definite improvement on the previous games in the series, and it's definitely one of my top 2 games of 2014, and that's why it's in this countdown. Well, the time is nigh, and just like always, 2014 didn't make it easy for me to pick a game of the year. However, I've got to do it, and let me tell you which game out of these two it is. My game of the year for 2014 is...
You'll get nothing out of me.
That's right.
You will resist. You will always resist. It matters not.
Oh yeah, it's Dragon Age Inquisition, with a very special celebratory second place clap to Dark Souls 2. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, this is a very similar situation to me from a few years back when my Game of the Year awards had a showdown between Batman Arkham City and Skyrim. And at that point, it had one deciding factor, and that was just the amount of content in the game. I'll be honest, there were two deciding factors this time around. Number one was amount of content in the game. Yeah, Dark Souls 2 does have a ridiculous amount of content. Dragon Age Inquisition has more, and that's just one of the factors. But I'll be honest, the other factor here that really came into play for me was that Dark Souls 2, for whatever reason, didn't make any effort to improve their graphical performance from the last game. If you actually play Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2, you'll notice it's the same graphical engine, which is weird because when they showed promo videos of Dark Souls 2, when they were promoting it at first, before release, the graphics looked way better, and people have even done side-by-side comparisons of the video from before and the actual final game and saying what happened here. There's even tons of speculation and controversy saying maybe they tried to do that and the PS3 and or Xbox 360 simply couldn't handle it, alright? Dragon Age Inquisition, however, on the other hand, took a giant leap forward, going to a brand new graphical engine from the previous games. Of course, it's not a brand new engine overall, I'm just saying from the previous games it's a different one. The game looks gorgeous, and it just really shines when you're doing a giant epic scale dragon fight, or if you're doing a ton of little monsters in an area and you're like, wow, there's like a ton of monsters here, look at the detail everywhere and nothing is screwing up, the graphics are great, and that's really what makes this game shine overall when you look at it visually. It's not only a great game with tons of content, it also looks gorgeous. So the two factors of more content overall and better graphics make Dragon Age Inquisition the better game. Now someone might say, but that's not fair because Dragon Age Inquisition is on the next gen of consoles. That's absolutely correct. And Dark Souls 2 could have chosen to be on the next generation of consoles too. I just gotta pick it objectively as much as subjectively. Dragon Age Inquisition is the better game, and I think that it is the game of the year for 2014. And there we have it, ladies and gents. Another year in the bag, another year of great gaming down. I think a lot of people overall were a little bit disappointed with 2014 because a lot of the AAA games we had expected to be great ended up not being so great. But in the long run, when you actually look at these Game of the Year awards countdowns as well as the honorable mentions, I think that we did have a small, range of great games that were definitely worth checking out, and I hope that this countdown helped you to possibly figure out some games that you might want to check out that you missed out on this past year. And 2015 is upon us. It's now, for some of these consoles, their second or even third year being out there from when they were just called next gen, and I'm hoping that game developers do a much better job of, taking advantage of the new hardware, the new gaming engines, and that we really start to see games that can be considered next gen. Because I'll be honest, in the year of 2014, I think there were a lot of games that really didn't do that and kind of fell flat on their face because of it. So here's looking forward to a great 2015. I hope that you guys will join me for all the new gameplay, for the reviews, for the new montage videos I'm planning on doing, and all the great content coming out this coming year. Thanks a lot for watching. As always, I'm DSP. Thanks for watching the Game of Year Awards for 2014. I'll see ya next time.